But here we go. This is a little bit of a fun thing for anybody listening here. There is, in fact, I'll ask you, Lee, because you're right there. What do you believe about twins? Do you believe that twins are kind of like in sync?
See, I look at twins. I know a few people that have got twins, and which is weird, actually, now come to think about it. I know more than my fair share of twins.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I think they're a bit of a double album syndrome. Yeah, that whole thing about double albums where you go, like, that's okay, that double album. Mm-hmm. But if it had just been a single album, it would have been an absolute scorcher.
Okay, if any twins are listening, I know Lee's a cunt. I love twins.
Just saying, like, would you rather like two? It's like Stewie, innit? Stewie and Family Guy, when he starts copying himself, and he starts off as Stewie and ends up as Stewie. You can't bake two good loaves at once in a small oven.
Here we go.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama.
Let me turn that up. Usually
failure
blows your ears out.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran into the bush
behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our driveway.
You don't think of all of that at the time. No, you just run for your life.
That's fucking mental. That is the right for anyone that doesn't know what the fuck just. No, do you know what? For anyone that doesn't know what the fuck just happened to them and they'll listen a little bit confused, i.e., our audio listeners, that was two fucking people that looked identical, hence the identical twins thing, in
same
the
clothes.
fucking same clothes, doing the same gestures, saying almost the same fucking sentences. And I'm not going to lie, Ollie, my thoughts about you can either have like one really exceptional person or twins, they didn't disprove that.
So you think one of them would be exceptional?
If all of the bits, like if you could lay the bits of two people out and pick the best bits, I think you might end up with one better person.
Okay. Now we know how you feel about twins.
And look,
I think it's disgusting, but not twins. You.
Well, that's not what I thought. That's not what I heard.
I think that's the gift. I think that's gifted. I think it's just one fucking
Ollie,
person.
Do you know what it sounded like?
Sharing one brain.
Yeah, but which also kind of backs up what I just said. But you know what it sounded like? It sounded like my fucking Bluetooth headphones were slightly out of sync.
I've just realised that's what it probably sounded like for the audio listeners thinking what's going on here. I bet they fucking were unplugging the headphones and shit like that.
Yeah.
Stopping.
Sorry about that. But that is insane. That's fucking insane. Unless it is a bit. Unless it's a bit. It didn't look like a bit.
I don't think it was. I think it was just a normal news article thing. But yeah, twins. I think there's something definitely about twins that I don't know. Is it not telekinesis? Is it telekinesis? No, that's where you move shit with your mind, isn't it?
Shit. Yeah, telepathy.
Telepathy. Yeah, they're kind of in tune.
Maybe. I mean, like I'm still one of those weirdos that, for no apparent reason. No, actually, I won't like that. There is reasons to think it. I'm not convinced that consciousness is something that we contain within ourselves. You know, I'm more down with the idea that the brain is like the tip of a fucking antenna, and it's our actual consciousness comes from somewhere else, and we're all just kind of connected to it. So it would make sense if you had two people that split from the same embryo, whatever it is. I don't know the biology.
I think I
can't even say it.
Tadpole.
Yeah. Well, either way, whichever part of the frog splits into in the heron's beak when it delivers the babies. I think it stands to reason for me that there might be some sort of sharing of like connection with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if consciousness is something that's fed, that would kind of like, it kind of makes sense to me. I went to school with twins. Actually, they were weird twins. They were very close, like really, really close, and the nice girls, but yeah, they were. There's a closeness there. There's a closeness there that I don't think like even brothers and sisters have. You know, it's something extra special. The idea that you can see a sun for 24 hours means that the Earth's round, or at least that's what was put forward. I understand that point of view. I also understand the vehement flat earthers that have said, well, no, hang on a second. All this proves is that the flat earth model we've been working to is wrong. These people are still saying, look, we can still measure things over distances that we should be able to measure without curvature. There is still things like the longest infrared photograph which has ever been taken, which is still like that. Although I'm not necessarily a flat earther, still boggles my mind is that some of this long distance photography should technically not be possible. So that's weird. However, Jeranism, he went down there and he came back, and he has been the biggest fucking flip-flopper on flat earth. Like he's just gone completely 180 on it, started debunking it or wherever he can do. This is the same guy that used to go on and like debate like NASA guys and Globe Earth guys on his channel all the time.
Hasn't he killed his platform pretty much as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, that's I suppose it's a bad thing in a way, because if somebody says something, if somebody you trust and you've trusted for a long time for whatever reason, excuse me, if they start saying something that you disagree with, I think you should probably give it a look. At least give it a look. Go. Don't just fucking write that person off, because if they've said like 100 things that you've agreed with, then they say one thing that you don't agree with, then you should probably spend more time trying to work out how they've got to that position. That being said, bearing in mind, Jeranism, I
saw this but never clicked on it. By the way,
hours of videos on the International Space Station, footage inside of it being fake, hours of footage doing like experiments that he's done himself on curvature and all that sort of stuff. The idea that the Katy Perry thing would go on and like people people that are just going to listen to this, I'm going to play Jeranism watching the Katy Perry launch and what he has to say about it. I find it very suspicious that some guy that spent the last decade referring to NASA as like NASA, the fake space agency, and that type of thing, and then they send like a washed pop queen into space, and this is how he responds to it.
Just wait, hold that for 1 second. 33,000 views, go.
Right, 33,000.5 thousand.
Fuck the 0.5.
Don't let facts get in the way of a good story. Right, here's Jeranism talking about that launch.
What do you think this is? You think this is all a screen out the window? Is that what you think? So you think all these people are lying to their children, lying to their husbands, lying to their coworkers, lying to their friends, lying to their family, their mothers and fathers, and they're going, you are deluded. Do you understand? Nope. You are a deluded person, if that's what you think. This is a real flight. They throw them up there and they come back. It's not worth the money. And people say, oh, you would land so hard you would hurt yourself. No, there's a blast of air that comes out right as it lands. You act like that's impossible. It just blasts a bunch of air out from underneath it, so it lands like on a cushion. Watch. You can actually get to see it from the inside. She also talks about the fact that these chairs are custom made for each person. So when you buy your ticket, they take you into these chairs. They craft them for you because of the G forces that you might experience and because of the landing to make sure you don't get hurt. Okay, so it is a real thing. Get over it. And by the way, I'm
going to have to put in here for a split second for people that aren't listening, so that aren't watching this video on Patreon. When he said the cushion of air comes out the bottom of it, and that's what you see, that's not what you see. What you see is the craft impacting on the ground, and it just throws up a load of dust that's around it. So there's no cushion of air, there's no like weird fucking jet thing that's coming out the bottom of it. It's hitting the fucking ground. The second thing, as far as the seats for impact goes, it's not about the comfort level of like how soft you can be on something when you hit the ground at speed. It's the fact that if you're in a car accident, for instance, one of the issues you've got is okay, like fair enough, your body might be fine, but when you stop, your organs don't stop. I'm not saying that this crash would, because there are parachutes involved and stuff like that, but the idea that just the impact of something like this falling from fucking the edge of space with a parachute, like the idea that we would just be stopped, we've just all of a sudden, after decades of having these things fall into the water for just this reason, to absorb impact, we would just decide to start. No, it's fine. We can have them land gently with 3 pretty fucking small parachutes given the situation. I think that's retarded.